New Ford Maverick! How does it drive? Did it brake? Does it even still run?
Oh, hey, yeah,
The results are shocking! And to find out, like, share, subscribe, comment the last 4 digits of your
Alright, yes, it works. And I feel pretty much the same about it as I did in the last video. When I made my first car review video, 10,000 miles with my 2022 Maverick, I was aware of the way YouTube works from previous experiences, and I knew I had a choice. I could attempt to guess the algorithm and use cliffhangers and clickbait to make something likely to rack up views, or I could make the video strictly the way I wanted, ignoring any tactics for audience attraction and retention. In other words, I could make a car review video that I'd want to see. So, that's what I did. What surprised me was just how many people noticed the effort and encouraged the idea. I appreciate those comments because it shows me I'm not the only one who enjoys that format of review. And that being said, this is the part of a car review where you'd hear some clever tagline and something like, "Stay tuned to find out." But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to lay this out now. I've had an excellent ownership experience so far with my 2022 Maverick. It's been reliable, durable, and I'm happy to say I've put real use to the utility features it provides in little over a year with it. The Maverick is a car that I can confidently recommend to most people so long as you know what to expect for what it is, and that it's a jack-of-all-trades vehicle rather than a master of any particular one. Oh, I can already hear some ogre-looking, dip-smacking hoss typing up a comment on his Dell workstation about how, "There ain't no real truck!" And then the same dude hops in a squatted GMT 800 on 26-inch billet wheels, misfiring all the way to Denny's with enough steering play to churn butter. Look, I'm gonna be blunt. I'm not the kind of person to macho up and make sure everything I own is real man gear that the bros always approve. If it works for me, I use it. If not, I don't. And for me, the Maverick works. If you need half-ton capability, buy a half-ton pickup. If you need more than that, buy a 25 or 3500. But to go out and say the Maverick is useless because it doesn't do what bigger trucks do, it's like saying you can't use a wheelbarrow for gardening because it's not a backhoe. What makes the Maverick exceptional is its ability to bridge multiple roles at a lesser extent than purpose-built rigs. Forget hypotheticals, I'll give you real examples. I've hauled steel and aluminum to and from fab shops in my Maverick. I've hauled a mini bike in the bed for a friend. I've moved dirt across the yard like a makeshift tractor for my wife's gardening. And sometimes I go to a private range a little over an hour from me. It's a mix of highway and back roads, and when I get there, it's dirt. So when it rains, that dirt becomes mud. The thing is, when I make that drive, I spend 95% of it on pavement, yet I still need something that can do 5% of dirt and possibly some mud. The Maverick does that for me. And no, of course I'm not bogging it straight through mud holes because it would definitely get stuck. I'm sticking to the drier parts of the dirt when I can and avoiding the big ruts. If I wanted to hop those, I'd run a mud crawler, but then I'd spend that 95% of pavement driving, bleeding my eardrums out and making 7 miles per gallon on those rolling hills. And that's the big plus to the fact that the Maverick doesn't drive like a truck. I like trucks, and they have their place. But for me, the Maverick wins out as a daily driver. But of course, not everything is sunshine and good times. One big issue I had with the Maverick before was the stereo and Android Auto glitching out. Recently, Android Auto Moonwalk rolled out, and after around a month, I can say it's a definite improvement over the old system. The split-screen infotainment layout is excellent, and it cuts out far less frequently. The Bluetooth, however, aside from Android Auto, is still dog shit. At this point, I'm calling it an issue with the Ford stereo, and once again, I feel Ford should get on top of it yesterday. Another low point I mentioned for the Maverick was the wind turbulence, whereas the wind would beat your eardrums to death if you rolled the windows down above 50 miles per hour. Of course, this hasn't changed on Ford's end, but later on I actually bought some stick-on rain visors for my Maverick, and these ended up cutting the wind problem down tremendously. I can now cruise on the interstate with the windows cracked and without going deaf, which is a plus. Now, not everyone will be happy with the idea of window visors, but once again, it's what works for me, and it does solve the issue. Now, for anyone who hasn't seen my previous video, the driving behavior of the Maverick is like that of a regular car or crossover. The independent suspension makes it flex well in corners and on rough roads. It also makes significantly more fuel economy than any traditional pickup truck due to its aerodynamics and the efficiency of the turbo/8-speed combo. I drive 30 miles to work and back every day, but I actually changed jobs since the last video, and with half of that being back roads and half highway, I make 27 to 28 miles per gallon on the dash and 26 to 27 actual at the pump. The Maverick does feel stiffer than the average SUV, most likely because it was made to have that payload capacity in the bed, and also because it's just not a luxury vehicle. You'll have to decide whether that means something to you or not. Power delivery and responsiveness in the 2.0 EcoBoost setup is still solid, and it rarely fumbles to find the right gear in that 8-speed auto. It does have turbo lag, so for those uninitiated, that will likely take some adjustment to get used to, but it's not bad by any means. And like I said before, the turbo is very fuel efficient, though that is heavily dependent on just how hard you drive. The seating position is good and the ergonomics are comfortable, though this will change with different drivers. However, I'm 5'10", my wife is 5 feet tall, and my dad is 6'3". All three of us find the Maverick comfortable to sit in and drive. But for those who are significantly wider, they might find some issues. It's like everything I've said. Don't just take my word for it, do your own research and see what works for your use case. In the end, I've said it before, the philosophy of the Maverick is like that of a multi-tool. You're never going to beat purpose-built trucks at their own game in what is essentially a pickup bed Ford Focus. But this pickup Focus can haul 1,500 pounds in the bed, and in my case, tow 4,000 pounds behind it. So, if you want to know what capability is enough for you, decide what you'll use it for, do the research, and find out. There's no substitute for critical thinking, and you're not spending some internet personality's money, you're spending your money. Don't ever forget that. Thank you for watching the video. I hope it was informative or at least entertaining, and I will see you later. Peace.